What if I told you that you do not need to spend 6 months to a year building a personal brand to start getting clients on LinkedIn? Well, if you're starting from zero and you want to build a valuable network and land some dream opportunities, then this video right here is for you. There are about 1 billion active users on LinkedIn, which means there are millions of potential customers that you could be doing business with. Yet, so many creators struggle to make money on there. But LinkedIn is not exactly user-friendly when you first start out. Plus, you have online gurus telling you to post hundreds of comments a day, which, let's be honest, if you're running a business, you don't have time for that. You need to understand that by having thousands of followers, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have thousands of dollars in your bank account. So in this video, I'll share with you the exact strategy you can learn to start landing large opportunities into your inbox with just a small audience. First of all, let's understand the LinkedIn algorithm. You see, understanding the LinkedIn algorithm is the key to being successful on the platform. Unlike other social media algorithms, LinkedIn prioritizes relevance and expertise over general viral content. This means that your focus should be to have meaningful interactions and provide massive value to your target audience. When you post on LinkedIn, the algorithm will check your content against a number of factors to determine the quality and the relevance to the people that might see it. First up, content is categorized as either spam, low quality, or high quality, dependent on a number of things. These are grammar, readability, and the relevance to the audience. Now, your content might be flagged as spam if you have basic spelling mistakes, the grammar isn't very good, or you have an inappropriate use of excessive hashtags or links to another platform. Low quality content means it lacks readability, it targets irrelevant audiences, or it just in general isn't something that's of interest to your audience. On the other hand, high quality content is easy to read, encourages engagement, and is super focused and relevant to your audience. So to make sure that you're providing high quality content, you can master the basics by downloading apps like Hemingway, Grammarly, or Pro Writing Aid so that your spelling and grammar is awesome. And then you need to keep in mind that LinkedIn values unique perspectives and industry-specific expertise. So no cutting and pasting generic info from ChatGPT. Also, personal updates might be relevant to a couple of ex-colleagues, but if you want to grow your audience, you need to be providing specific value. This can come in the form of how-tos, step-by-step transformations, or examples of how you've solved a problem for a client. The reason why I say this is these posts are shareable, and if you get a share into somebody else's audience, then they will see your profile too. You want to follow the rule of providing shareable content. If people are going to share your stuff, then more people are likely to see it. Your own professional background also plays a significant role in how the algorithm treats your content. LinkedIn expects your content to align with your professional expertise as you have it written on your profile. This ensures that it resonates with your target audience and adds value to their feed. A way to make sure you're aligned with your content is to make sure that your profile is bang up to date. Remember, a fully populated profile means more words for LinkedIn to pick up on. Pro tip is to turn on creator mode and add the 5 most relevant hashtags so that LinkedIn can recognize what your content is going to be about. So what happens after your post clears that initial screening process? Well, the algorithm tests your post's engagement against a small subset of followers and connections. If it does well in that first hour, it will show it to a more wider audience. However, if the post gets little to no engagement, it drops off the face of the earth, never to be seen again. Engagement from relevant users is prioritized over just general interactions, and so when professionals in your industry like your stuff, it significantly impacts visibility. But in simple terms, to get around this, post your good quality content at a relevant time to your audience, and if you can, share it amongst your colleagues or a couple of close friends so that you can get it out of that first hour. But how does the algorithm determine the ranking of your posts? First up, LinkedIn prioritizes your personal connections over mega influencers or irrelevant connections. This means that people who you interact with the most are more likely to appear on your feed. And what do we learn from this information? Well, if you want to increase the engagement of your posts, you need to align a professional network with connections and followers that are engaging with your stuff. The next key factor is interest relevance, and this is determined by LinkedIn checking up on your keywords to see what shared interests you've got with connections. This will determine the relevance of your content to new users and the the existing ones as well. So in simple terms, if you're crafting content that aligns with the interests of your target audience, then they're more likely to see your stuff. It will also significantly improve your post's visibility. And then we have engagement probability. You see, LinkedIn uses machine learning algorithms to check on your past posts to see how many likes, comments, and shares your previous stuff has done. The speed at which your post gets engagement also determines how many people LinkedIn shows your post to next. In my opinion, liking, commenting, and sharing other people's stuff is just a great positive feedback loop to give your posts the maximum chance of visibility in the feed. But it doesn't end there. Once you've got to a broader audience, then LinkedIn is constantly checking as the engagement goes as to whether to push it to a wider and wider audience. If it gets positive views, it will push it further, and if it gets negative views, it will take it down a notch as well. But what factors what good engagement means? First up, meaningful comments that go way further than congrats, agreed, I like this, and delve into the content itself. If the algorithm sees that you're getting comments that are delving more deeply into the content, such as people sharing insights, sharing it themselves, or providing their own piece of content, then they will deem it as good engagement. Moreover, the algorithm also considers where those comments are coming from, whether they're coming from random individuals or people from relevant groups. LinkedIn evaluates the relevance of those comments and the person and the profile of the person who's engaged with your stuff. It also checks out the past interactions of that person on the platform. Okay, we've talked about the algorithm, but now I want you to understand that it's not just about having a large following on the platform. You see, while having a large following can be beneficial, it is not the only metric that matters if you want to get good business results. Instead of solely focusing on your followers count, you should be diving in DMs, getting on calls with people, and following up connections as soon as you've made them. After all, the true value of LinkedIn is in its ability to connect you with customers from around the world. So how can you leverage DMs and connections to make the most of LinkedIn? Well, you need to follow my 3-step strategy that I am going to reveal for you now. Step 1 is to build your LinkedIn profile as if it was a landing page. Think of your LinkedIn profile as your website. If you want to genuinely convince people to interact with you, then you need to set up your profile as professionally as possible. And just like a landing page helps you get sales, your LinkedIn profile will help you get some real business. You want your LinkedIn profile to be inviting, informative, and compelling enough so that people follow you. The first thing you need to focus on here is clear messaging. Your headline is the first thing that people see, so make it count. Instead of simply stating your job title, consider writing a catchy tagline or a value proposition as to why people should connect with you. And to stand out, you need to show off a little bit. Instead of just putting founder of company, you could put, we help you land your dream clients without costly ad spend. This not only tells people what you do, but also how you can help them. Moving on to your bio and about section, you need to delve deep into your expertise and what makes you special. Share your professional journey and what motivates you. But remember, keep it relevant to your audience. Share examples of projects that you've worked on, or some client testimonials, or something of relevance that you think your audience need to know. This should provide social proof and credibility. And don't forget about keywords. Make sure you optimize your profile with relevant keywords that your audience might be searching for. Think about skills, expertise, and relevant terms specific to your industry, and sprinkle them throughout your profile to give you maximum visibility. But what about visuals? Well, your profile picture should be a clear, professional headshot to put a face to a name. Avoid using blurry, outdated photos, and make sure you're looking at the camera. As for your banner image, showcase what it is you do by highlighting it in the background. You could use a branded image with your company logo, or make the most of it by telling people what it is you do. And I would suggest adding some videos or slideshows to your profile in the featured section so that you make your profile interactive and as engaging as possible. You could even create a short video and pin it in your featured section so that you can introduce people to what it is you actually do. I cannot stress enough how important it is to craft a perfect profile so that you look like the go-to guy or girl in your industry. Step 2 is how to connect with the right people. Now, you don't need to wait for connections to come to you. Instead, you're going to go out and roll up your sleeves and get proactive. Start by identifying your ideal clients. Who are the people you want to connect with? Who are the people in your industry industry that you want to know. What job titles do they hold? Think about the characteristics of your ideal client or customer and use LinkedIn's search function to narrow down that search. For example, if you're a graphic designer looking to work with small businesses, you might put in the search function entrepreneur or small business owner in your local area. You can then filter the results by location, industry, size of company so that you have the most relevant prospects. And once you've connected with someone, engage with their content, comment on their posts, like and share their stuff so that you can start the relationship off well. Networking is all about building a real relationship, and so connecting with someone one day and then sending a wall of text the next is a great way to get ignored. But the question is, how can you leverage your connections to maximize your reach on LinkedIn? Now, this is where you're going to filter out the people you're already connected with. First, focus on interacting with people who are active on the platform. These are individuals who are most likely to like, comment, and share your stuff so that you reach a bigger audience. For example, if you're a marketing consultant, focus on making connections with thought leaders in your industry. And bonus if they have a significant following. By connecting with them and sending them a message, you not only expand your following, but you give yourself a greater chance to have your content seen by their audience. Next, make sure your content is shareable and valuable. Create posts, articles, and videos that provide valuable tips, advice, or insights to your specific industry. Also, don't just rely on your connections to share your content. Make sure that you reciprocate and share their content as well. Finally, encourage your connections to like, comment, and share your stuff by asking relevant questions, or you can request feedback in the comments section so that engagement goes up. Step 3 is to start reaching out to people. Once you've identified your target audience, it's up to you to get proactive and make those connections. But don't just send out generic connection requests. Instead, personalize your messages and make them relevant to the recipient. For example, instead of just saying, "Hi, I'd like to add you to my connection requests," go to the extra effort and go to their page, look at what they're producing, like, comment on their stuff, and maybe ask a super relevant question on something they've posted. The more relevant and personalized it is, the more likelihood that someone's going to engage with you. So why is personalization so important in messages? Well, think of it this way. Would you respond to something that looks like it's been obviously cut and paste? Probably not, right? They want to feel like you're reaching out specifically and not that you've just blasted a load of mass messages out to anyone that will listen. By personalizing your messages and your connection requests, you give yourself a huge chance of making meaningful connections of people who will actually buy from you. So how can you initiate relevant conversations to the people you've connected with? Well, it all starts with being genuine and authentic in your approach. Have a look at what's relevant on their profile. Maybe they recently shared an interesting article or won an award, or even just simply as changing jobs can be something to talk about. By referencing something specific on their profile, you've shown that you've done your homework and that you're reaching out specifically to them to start a connection request. But remember, keep your messages concise and to the point. Nobody wants to read a novel in their LinkedIn inbox. Aim for 2 to 3 sentences that concisely get your point across. So how can you approach a long-term strategy on LinkedIn? Well, first you have to set realistic expectations for yourself. For example, commit to posting content on a regular basis. Personally, I try to publish between 3 to 5 posts a week. Over time, as people get used to you on the platform, they'll start seeing you as a trusted advisor in your industry. In addition to posting content, be proactive in engaging with your audience and making sure that you dive in those DMs. Respond to comments, messages, and invitations, and be as proactive as you can to make the most of LinkedIn. In the end, I'd like to remind you that with a bit of effort and some consistency, you can get some clients on LinkedIn and have a fantastic focused network of connections as well. And if you want to watch my video on how to grow on LinkedIn in 2024, then jump on over to this video here and I'll see you over there.